time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to The Pet Show. Are you being boring your border collie? I mean, have you really been boring them? They're really smart, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with their border collie. Is your rescued Persian acting a bit paranoid? Does your dachshund have you totally dumbfounded? Well, if you love animals, I'm assuming you do, you're listening to The Pet Show, care about wildlife and the environment, and really want to understand how your dogs and cats think, why they behave the way they do. You want to understand them almost as well as they understand you. Well, stay tuned, because once again, right here, right now, it is time for The Pet Show, America's first and only real, and I mean real pet psychology. We delve into your pet's head. Real training, real behavior, and of course, real pet lifestyle show. So, plenty of time for your calls. Hop onto my couch or your couch. Bring your furry little buddies with you, folks, because it is that time once again. Yes, once again, to let the animal analyzing begin. Hello, everybody. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you'd like to join me on the Evergrowing Pet Show family, let's say you have a question about your dog or cat's behavior. Your cat looks at that litter box and walks away and says, ha, there's no way I'm using that. Your dog decided that anything he sees, he must hump. He's digging holes in your backyard, look like craters out there. Your cat scratched your favorite chair, keeps you up all night long, refusing to eat, pooped on your pillow. You take your dog for a nice stroll in the neighborhood. He's wonderful. Then he sees another dog, and what happens? He goes absolutely nuts. If you have a question about your pet's behavior, that is what this show's all about. Helping you cope with your pets, but a lot more likely, helping your pets cope with you. It is not easy living with human beings. And let me just remind everyone out there, whether you're a new listener to The Pet Show, a regular listener to The Pet Show, it makes no difference. Everyone that calls me today and gets to talk to me live on the air, once again, will be getting an absolutely incredible gift. It's not for you. It's for that beautiful dog or cat that we're talking about today. And just so you know, if you're new to the show, I'm not giving away milk bones here, folks. Many of the items you hear me give away on The Pet Show are $25, $35, $45, even $50. So everyone that calls in gets to talk to me live on the air, whether it be a question, a comment, just want to brag about a new dog or cat you rescued, want to talk about the heat in your pets. Everyone that calls and gets through will get one of these fabulous gifts for their dog or their cat. The phone number here at The Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-KRLA. And a lot of people prefer numbers, so let me give those to you as well. 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. But let me tell you what I have coming up on today's show. I will try to get to most of it, but by now you know that I will not get to all of it, because your questions and comments are always my priority. So here. Did you know that more than 50%, not 10%, not 20%, 50% of dogs older than 10 years old will suffer with canine cognitive dysfunction? But there is something you can do. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later. And I get angry at people that say, well, you know, my dog's not as sharp as he used to be. He's not responding as well as he used to be. Well, you know what? Neither am I. Maybe I'm suffering with a little cognitive dysfunction as well. Also coming up, my special report on the hot weather and your pets, my approach to keeping your pets safe during the excessive heat. I know you're hearing a lot about it on the news. I might have a little bit of a different take, having served as a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security. Also coming up, here's a question I bet anyone out there has never, ever been asked this question. Do you watch your dog pee? Well, I'm asking it. Do you watch your dog pee? what your dog's peeing position means. Is he a one-leg lifter, a two-leg lifter, a both-leg lifter? Does he not lift a leg at all? Is he a high kicker, a low kicker? We're going to talk about. Now, you don't understand how deep I am into animal behavior. I studied for a long, long time the different positions your dogs are in when they pee, and figured out what they might mean. We'll talk about that a little bit later on today's show. As always, plenty of time for all your questions and comments. So if your pet is chewing, jumping, confused about the litter box, maybe your new rescue is suffering with separation anxiety, maybe even depressed, your dog's chasing anything that moves, cat scratched your favorite chair, and as I said before, your dog is thinking and believing and doing that if he sees it, it's humpable. That's what this show's all about. As I said, helping you cope with your pets. And here's the question of the day. You know, our dogs and our cats can learn an awful lot from us. But you know I studied for many years in Europe. And the one thing I learned from some of these old, and I mean some old trainers and behaviorists, but just amazing knowledge they had, was, you know, Warren, what have we learned from our pets? It's not always what our pets have learned from us. What have we learned from our pets? So I throw this out at you right now. What have you learned from your dog or cat? What have you learned? And I talked about, let me just give you this quick story, and the phones are jamming, I'll get to your phone calls. When I was sitting many years ago, many years ago, at a guest house, or we'll call it a bar, in just outside of, I guess it was just outside of Wiesbaden, Germany, and speaking to a guy that studied at the universities. He even had access and worked with Cousteau years ago. And he had always been working with dolphins, studying dolphins and the way they react and their response and how smart they are. And just an amazing guy. And after a couple of beers, he said to me, you know, Warren, I retire, I quit, I will never do it again. And I said, but you've been doing it your whole life. You've been studying them, helping them survive. Why are you stopping? And his response to me was pretty simple, but listen carefully. He said, Warren, it has now gotten to the point where the dolphins are doing more research with me than I could ever possibly do with them. And the human ego could not accept that. Phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. What have you learned from your pets? I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from your pets? And I don't want to hear I learned to turn around 3 times before I lie down. I want to hear, what did you really learn from your dogs and cats? Again, 866-870-KRLA. I want to hear some heat stories. I mean, it is hot out there. I'm an East Coaster. No one would know it because I lost my accent a long time ago. Long Island. Anyway, how are you coping with the heat? What are you doing to keep yourself and your pets really cool? There's a lot of things that you can do, and a lot of people don't understand how a dog tries to cool themselves when they're hot. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on this show as well. Plenty of time for your calls, 866-870-5752. As I said, lots of great stuff to give away on this show. I got lots of topics, but you know your phone calls are always my priority. And again, I'd like to hear from people. I might even get into a little monkeypox later. But I want to hear from people that have either learned something from their pet, or I'd like to hear your ideas. What are you doing to keep your pets cool? You know, every week people come to me as the expert for all the years, but you guys have incredible knowledge. What are you doing to keep your pets cool during the hot weather? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-5752. The phones are already full, so I better start out with a phone call. Let me go to Woodland Hills. It's never hot in Woodland Hills. Let me go to Ray. Hey, Ray, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, good morning. Well, since you asked about keeping the pets cool, I actually put ice in the dog's water bowl all the time to help that heat issue. But I actually had a question about a dog eating the carpet and like the sub panel flooring beneath the carpet. So.
Well, let me ask you a question. Tell me what type of dog it is. And before you even tell me the type of dog, has the dog been in that home when that carpet was put down or that flooring was put down, or is that something that was done after the dog came in?
It was done after the dog came in, and the reason it was put in is because the last set of carpeting was chewed up, so it's just this is the second replacement that's been done. So
okay.
I think it might be because there's not enough room in the house, maybe not enough, too much energy. But
okay, so now we go back a little bit. What type of dog is it, Ray?
It's a husky.
Okay, well, first of all, right off the bat, Huskies, one of my favorite dogs in the whole wide world, incredibly bright, need a tremendous amount of mental stimulation and exercise. They can be chewers if they're bored. That's what a dog does. It's like chewing on our nails. So there's any number of things that you can do. It doesn't make any difference. I worked with clients in New York City many years ago that had Huskies that lived in studio apartments. And if you know what a studio apartment is in New York City, it's about the size of a closet. However, they compensated. They would take the dog for a longer run. They would take the dog to a park and let him run loose. They would have a dog walker come during the day or someone to make sure the dog was getting plenty of exercise. It sounds to me, there's a couple of reasons why a dog will chew. Number one, they'll chew obviously if they're teething. Number two, they'll chew if they're bored. Number three, they'll chew if they're not getting enough exercise. And four, there's something which is pretty rare nowadays because our foods the dog foods are so nutritious. There's something called pica. If there's a certain mineral lacking in a dog's diet, they will chew on something specifically because they have something called pica. In fact, kids and human beings can get pica as well. So those are the four basic reasons why dogs chew. Now, I'm going to assume we're not dealing with pica. You can run that by your vet, but I don't think that's the case. I suggest increased stimulation mentally and physically is the resolution to your problem. Also, make sure that in the home when the dog is there, the same toys aren't down all the time. Rotate them every other day. Put 6 down on Monday, pick them up on Tuesday, put new ones down, put the old ones back on Wednesday. Just make sure you're stimulating the dog as much as you possibly can, and increased exercise, increased mental stimulation makes the dog sleep, not chew. So those are the basic approaches I would be taking at this point, Ray. Nothing corrective at this point. I mean, the dog's not chewing. He says, aha, look at this. I want to chew up the carpet. There's a reason that's provoking him to do it, and that's where behavior really comes into play. So it could be boredom. I don't know how much training the dog has. If you can get him into advanced training, Huskies are incredibly bright. So those are the things I would recommend at this point. How's that sound to you?
Thank you for all those suggestions. I have been trying to take the dog out to run all the time once I get home from work. It's been so hot out. I've been worried about, I don't want the dog to get heat exhaustion while I'm out there.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. So if you're going to do it, make sure it's cooler. And one of the things I recommend, because a lot of people would run maybe like I run 3-4 times a week, maybe 4 miles. No way my dog's going to run 4 miles. So what you may want to do is when you get home from work, take him for a short run, and then maybe a couple of hours later, take him for another little walk around the block or another run. And I would get him out more. Just because you take him out that one time doesn't resolve that frustration that he may be having. So I would take him out for shorter periods of time, maybe more frequently. I think that would be beneficial as well. So Ray, what have you learned? What's your Husky's name?
It's his name's Bear because he's so big.
They're just beautiful. They're just beautiful dogs. I mean, I should tell a story, but I don't want to waste everyone's time. I'll tell a story about the husky that almost got me thrown in the ocean because he peed on a couple that was having fun on a nice evening on a beach. But that's a whole other story about huskies. Anyway, what I want to do, Ray, I think that if you follow my advice, it will work. Really consider advanced training. Really consider more frequent exercise. It doesn't have to be long. It could be sprinting exercise. Do you have a backyard?
Yes, I do.
Try this. When the heat goes down, you might want to get a pulling harness. You can get them online. I'm not a sled dog person, but I used to have work with a husky that just loved to pull things. So what I did is I got him a pulling harness specifically made for pulling. I put a small little basic tire on the back of it, and he pulled it around the backyard, and he just loved every minute of it, and it also helped calm him down. So there's a lot of little things like that you could be doing at this point.
Oh, that's a great idea, too. I didn't even think of that because it seems like he's pulling me when we're walking.
Yeah, no, that's it. They need to do that pulling. I got to move on, but I want you to follow my advice. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm actually going to send you for your husky. You know what? Huskies have a tendency to shed a little bit, so I'm going to send you a jar of my own Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats for your dog, and give him a hug and a kiss, and just increase his exercise. I'm sure he's going to be fine. Hey, phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Celeste, Chris, Monin, Donna, don't go anywhere. A quick break, then right back to your phone calls. Listen. And thanks to my crack engineer, Alex, will be playing some Labor Day music throughout the day today. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. There's a new product that's going to be coming out, which actually lets you know what your cat is saying. They're working on one for dogs and cats, so you can not interpret, but it actually, the machine actually tells you what your dog or cat is thinking or saying. I don't want it. I know. I can look at my dog and cats. I can know what they're saying. I don't want to know what they're saying. Hey, stupid, get over here. I need a walk. I don't want to know what my dogs and cats are saying. Thank you, Alex. You agree with me. We don't have to hear it. But they're coming out, and it's going to be real expensive, so you can now put this around your cat or your dog, and you will understand everything they have to say. Everything they have to say. I don't want to know. That's just me. How about you? Do you want to know what they're saying? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Great calls coming in. I'm going to get to you, Celeste. I'm going to get to you, Carmen. I'm going to get to you, Monin. But I'm going to get to you, Donna. But right now, I want to go to Chris in Valencia. Hey, Chris, welcome to the Pet Show.
Thank you very much. I love listening to your show. It's wonderful.
Well, I appreciate that. How can I help you out today, Chris?
I have a dog. I don't know how old he is because I always adopt older dogs. I'm guessing he's around 11 or 12.
Okay.
But he's got dysplasia. And the doctor said he could operate on it. It would be somewhere around $5,000, but he said there's no guarantee that it would work. So I'm just trying to figure out, is there any way to support a dog's elbow as he's walking? Because he loves to walk, but he'll limp right through it.
Front or back? Front or back, by the way, Chris?
Front leg.
Front leg, okay.
So I'm just looking. Do they make supports for?
Yeah, they do. Oh, they make. You know, I wrote the foreword for an incredible book called Pets with Disabilities. My friend George runs Pets with Disability and just outside of Bethesda, Maryland, and they do absolutely amazing work. I mean, just some of the stuff they do. I don't know specifically if they have a brace made for. Have you spoke to a veterinary orthopedist or just strictly to your regular vet?
Just strictly to a regular vet. I had talked to. I went and got an opinion. I went to my doctor. He sent me to somebody that I guess specializes in. I don't know if they operate, but the person that specialized in it also said the same thing, that he could do the operation, probably wouldn't because he doesn't think it'd work.
Okay, so we have what type of dog? What type of dog is it?
It's an 85-pound pit bull mix.
Okay, so it's a large dog, and they want to do the surgery on an 11-year-old dog, and I can understand if the dog is in good health and they want to do the surgery. Why don't you Go ahead.
They actually discouraged me from doing it. They said I probably wouldn't do it because they can't guarantee it would work.
Yeah, but in terms of the pain, where is the pain? Have they given you anything to give the dog for pain?
Yes, my regular vet has given him pain pills, and I give it to him each and every day.
I'm going to make a recommendation to you. I don't know where there's one in Valencia, maybe, or in the area. Maybe one can let me know. I would absolutely recommend you speak to veterinary rehabilitation centers. This is where you can take the dog. There's hydrotherapy, there's acupuncture, acupressure, cold laser therapy. There's lots of alternative therapies that can be very, very helpful that most people aren't aware of, and a lot of vets don't often recommend them. Your vet sounds pretty good avoiding the surgery. So what I would do, and if someone out there knows, give me a call, but I'm sure there's got to be somewhere in your neighborhood a rehabilitation center for pets. I'm telling you, it's absolutely amazing. I have seen dogs that couldn't stand up or walk, and 3 weeks later, they're chasing a squirrel in the backyard. So it's just like physical therapy for pets. What it can do is maybe build up the muscle around that area to help alleviate pain. So what I would do, I would definitely contact, maybe Google rehabilitation center for pets in your area. That would be that's the best recommendation I can give you, Chris.
Okay, that's wonderful. I appreciate it.
And don't go. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I wanted to give you the little hint I have for my dog to keep him cool. He stays in my room, and he has a pad there, but I have an air purifier in my room. It's about 10, 12 inches tall, about 8 inches around. I just tip it over so the air is blowing right at him instead of blowing in the air, and he lays right down in front of that. He's just there as long as he wants to be, and he's got cool air blowing on him.
What a
great... $20, but it works really well.
You guys absolutely amaze me. Anything you can do to keep them cool. Anyway, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm sending you a product. It's manufactured, excuse me, by my friends at NatureVet. It's called ArthroSoothe Gold. By far one of the best products for hips and joints and bones. So let me send that to you as a supplement. It may be helpful, but I really think calling a rehabilitation center is probably the best way to go. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870 5752. What is with my throat today? Must be the weather, too. Anyway, here's what I want to do. I'm going to take a break early. When we come back, we're going to go to Celeste in Woodland Hills, Carmen in Hermosa Beach. We're going to go to Monin in Northridge, and Donna in West Hollywood. I definitely want to speak to you as well. Plenty of time for calls. The question of the day is, what have you learned from your pets? What have you learned from your pets? And I want to hear from you. I live in Santa Monica. It's a little bit cooler for me in Santa Monica than it is in the Valley. However, I'm still seeing a bunch of people out there either running with their dogs, biking with their dogs, jogging with their dogs, walking their dogs in the hottest part of the day. Am I the only one, or are you guys seeing these people out there as well? And do you say something, or should you say something to them? Maybe they just don't understand the concept of how heat is. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about how your dogs cool off. And a lot of people don't have any idea of how a dog releases heat from their body. And it's a little bit different than us. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let me just give you a list of what I'm going to be giving away on today's show. As I said, many of the items worth $30, $40, $50. You just heard me give away earlier some of my own Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats. I just gave away some ArthroSoothe Gold, an amazing product for hips and joints. I'll be giving away my best-selling books, either How to Get Your Dog or How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. Some amazing hemp seed oil manufactured right here in Temecula. And, of course, those amazing kitty lickies for your cats, Lucy Pet Food, T-shirts, hemp seed oil, and, of course, a new product I'm giving away on this show, all-natural herbal flea spray. So great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A quick break, then right back to all of your phone calls. Good music you playing there, Alex. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to give me a call. That phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. You know, Alex, you could have reminded me, you know what a better question would have been today? If your dog or cat had a real human job, what would your dog or cat be doing? Would he be a contractor, a doctor, a lawyer? So yours would be a security guard. I'm tossing it out to you. If your dog or cat on this Labor Day weekend had a human job, what would that human job be? Give me a call. Let me know. And if you get through to me, a great gift will be on its way for you. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Hey, you know, every single day, some celebrity is getting into the pet business. This week alone, I think it was Katherine Heigl set a pet line. But, you know, I have had the opportunity to meet and work with Dolly Parton many, many different times. She used to be a guest often on Regis and Kathy Lee and I on the Today Show. I think she popped in one day when I was doing the Mickey Mouse Club as well. Now, Dolly Parton's newest business ventures allowed the country music singer to spread her joy and style to the animal kingdom. She has her own line of pet toys coming out, and it's going to be called Doggy Parton. Doggy Parton. So good luck to you. I love Dolly. I mean, she's just an incredible lady. You know, I've had the opportunity of meeting celebrities, and they're all amazing. But when you meet one like Dolly Parton, they're just absolutely incredible people. 866-870-KRLA. That is the phone number. I still got lots of great stuff to give away. How about I take a call from Celeste? Hey, Celeste, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I'm doing super. How about yourself? Warm enough for you in Woodland Hills?
Yeah, no, I'm a little over it. I'm over it.
Go ahead.
I can barely hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me now?
No, a little bit, sort of.
Really?
Anyway, about 3 months ago, I rescued a 2-year-old cat stray from the shelter. I brought her home to my existing 2-year-old cat and my dog. Followed all the advice of, keeping them separate and site swapping, scent swapping, and all of those things. She got on fine with my dog right away, but it took almost 2 months for me to be able to even let them see each other because she growled and hissed every time she knew he was near the door. My existing cat. I've finally gotten to the point where I give them their favorite treats when they're within sight of each other, and I play with them and do all those things. But as soon as playtime or treat time is over, she becomes laser focused on him and wants to chase him and swat him. So my poor guy is living in fear. And I'm playing cat Tetris all day long, closing this door, opening this one, swapping, and it's exhausting.
Well, first of all, the biggest mistake that you made was keeping them separated for a month. Any two animals living in an environment for a month, they know that they're there. The fact that they're separated for a month is going to cause more animosity and more questioning on their part right off the bat. That's number one. The scent swapping is a great idea. I have no problem with that. I think it was super that you did that. However, let me ask you a question, and please answer me honestly. I'm not going to yell at you if you don't. If I were to come to your house right now and I were to crawl around on the floor, what would I see besides some cat toys and catnip toys? What would I see on the floor for the cats that have come to the house since the arrival of the new cat?
I'm not sure. I mean, as far as toys and things?
Well, as far as things for the cats to get the cat's attention.
Oh, I have tunnels, like those tunnels, those collapsible tunnels and boxes.
Yeah, but here's the scenario. Here's what I want you to do. The problem is a lot of people will go out and in their house they have these extravagant tunnels and these scratching posts, and they're all great. But if there's nothing new in the house, if there's nothing getting the cat that's been there first mind off of the arrival of the new cat, that's where they're going to be, that laser focus. So here's where I'm going to, again, I talk about this every week. Cardboard boxes, but not just cardboard boxes that had stuff in them. Be creative with them. I mean that seriously. Make a tunnel out of the cardboard boxes. Make a little a duplex, whatever you need to do. Boxes are free. Throw them out. Bring in new ones an hour or two later or tomorrow. In other words, what we want to do is even when the cats are in a room together and you're holding one and maybe the other one's walking around, he won't be as laser focused on the cat, the newer cat, if there's all of these new things coming into the house every single day. So part of getting animals to get along with each other is giving them the opportunity to distract one a little bit and then start realizing this is not really a threat. Since the arrival of the new cat, look at all these new things and new items that I'm getting. That's where the difference comes in.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No, go ahead.
The difference is it's not. My existing cat wants to be friends. He's giving the slow blinks and he's giving his belly.
Okay, so it's the new cat, but it's the same thing with the new cat. It's the same thing with the new cat. We need to give the new cat. Now, the new cat. Do you know any background on him? Was he stray? Was he an indoor? Was he an outdoor cat?
All I know is she was a stray. She was 2 years old and she was intact. So obviously they fixed her. So she may have been on the street all these years.
Is she using a litter box?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. So we're ahead of the game. So, but again, what I want you to do is, even though the cat that's been there before wants to be best friends, I want your house to really look like you're a hoarder. You should be on a hoarding show for the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
In other words, again, if you think about it, in other words, even two people sitting in a room, if there's nothing new or nothing that they can notice to distract them, they're focused on each other. I want that focus distracted a little bit at a time. The more time they spend together where they're not totally focused on each other, the better off you're going to be, and the faster it's. You'll come home one day, and I promise you, they'll be sleeping whisker to whisker.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ears.
There you go. Hey, listen, Celeste, do you have a copy of my cat book?
I don't.
Well, shame on you. No,
I wouldn't have this problem if I did.
Well, I am going to put you on hold, and the lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and I'm going to send you a copy. By the way, that book has been a bestseller for many years. There's a lot of great information there in terms of not only the understanding, but building up that self-image. All of that's so critical for the cats out there. On its way to you, a copy of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. Monin will get to you. Donna will get to you. Carmen will get to you. By the way, great time to give me a call. I do have a line opened. I know you're not outside sitting in the sun, so you got plenty of time to give me a call. Again, some of the items on today's show I'm giving away are pretty expensive, like Hugs and Kisses and Lucy Pet Food, Kitty Lickies, Arthur Gold. Some of them are almost $45, $50. So give me a call if you have a question or a comment, want to share a story about a new dog or cat. You know, I always stress this, and I wish I would get more people doing it. Give me a call. Let me know about a new dog or cat you rescued. Why? I'll help you with any issues you may be having, but that's not why I want you to call. I want you to call because every time I get a call from someone who recently rescued a dog or rescued a cat and starts talking about the relationship and how things are working out, tens of thousands of my listeners, but other listeners are going to say, you know what? Maybe it's time for us to adopt another dog or adopt another cat or to help out an organization. So your calls coming to the Pet Show are actually helping other people decide that they should be doing the same thing. So it's a great time to give me a call. It's you and me. This is different than any other radio show you might have heard. You've been listening to me now for 41 years. I'm not a radio host. I'm your friend. This is Warren, okay? And so if you have a question or a comment, there's nothing you can't ask me about your dogs or cats. That's what I'm here to do. Make life better for you. Make life better for your pets. Better for your pets first, then for you. Great time to give me a call. The phone number 866-870 KRLA 866-870-5752. We'll get to all your calls. Let me take a quick break, then right back to your phones. There's no live read. Thank you, Alex. I'll be right back to you. Now we're talking my kind of music here. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That phone number, 866-870. KRLA, that's 866-870-5752. If you want to see the face behind the mic, you can do that too. You can go to my YouTube. It's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. If you haven't been there, I'm telling you, you should see some of the 1-minute tips I give and the longer videos I give. It's really interesting. So check out. It's free. Subscribe. YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. This is why I do the show. I can't possibly have all the answers. But my crazy friend, I'm not really crazy, I adore her, Pam Scholl, texted, and here's the situation. For Chris, who called with the dog that he was asking about some type of brace for the front leg, there's a rehabilitation center in Santa Clarita. It's called Valencia Rehabilitation Center. It's in Santa Clarita, Valencia, and the website is valenciacaninerehab.com, valenciacaninerehab.com. Check it out. Thank you, Pam, as always, for sending that to me. Let me take another phone call right now. The phone's a jam. We got Monin in Northridge, Donna in West Hollywood, Cindy in Redondo Beach, Kevin in Lake Forest, Carmen in Hermosa Beach. But right now we're going to Northridge again. Hot in Northridge today. Let's go to Monin. Everyone's inside. That's why they're calling. Hey, is it Monin? Did I get the name right?
It's close. It's Manon.
Manon. Hi, Manon. How are you today?
I'm great, and thank you so much for your show.
Well, I appreciate that. How can I help you today?
I have a wonderful little Doxy who just turned 11 this week, and he's very puppy-like, energetic, and he started biting, and again, aggressive, more like attacking.
When did this start? How long ago did this start, Manon?
Well, maybe about 6 or 8 months ago.
Okay.
My friend called in because he had been, he bit at him a couple times. He was sitting on his lap late at night, and he went to move him, and then he kind of attacked him at that point, and then it stopped, and then maybe about 6 months ago, I went to take his collar off, and he bit me, and then he acted strange for like a couple days.
Well, let's talk about a few things. First of all, it's an 11-year-old Doxy. I love Dachshunds, incredible dogs. But here's the scenario. At 11 years old, a couple of things I have to take into consideration as a behaviorist, and some of them physical characteristics. For example, if a dog has not bitten for 10 years, or 10 and a half years, and all of a sudden started to bite, there's got to be something going on. What can it be? Could it be physical? Sure, it could be physical. Perhaps his mouth hurts him. Perhaps his vision is a little bit more challenged now. When you go to put your hand around his face area or go to pet him, he's not seeing it the same way. That could be part of it. However, what I would recommend that you do, very often when you have a dog that's been really a nice dog and then all of a sudden starts displaying some aggressive behavior, very often there's pain involved, or it could be a chemical imbalance. It could be something like the thyroid is off. Not that long ago, I had a listener very similar to you called me up. It wasn't a dachshund. It was a larger dog. The dog had always been like Rin Tin Tin. All of a sudden, about 11 years old also, he started kind of nipping and biting and growling at people. And we checked him for his thyroid. Sure enough, the veterinarian changed the thyroid medication, and within a couple of weeks, he was back to being Benji again. So that's one of the things I would recommend. Anytime you have a dog that's never shown aggressive behavior, but all of a sudden starts to show it, the first thing you want to do is make sure there's no physiological reason for it. Now, in terms of behavioral reasons for it, again, if the dog is either not feeling well, it's not visually seeing the same way, hearing the same way, those are all things that can trigger that. So I think the first thing to do at 11 years old, have a good conversation, check with your vet. If the vet says, you know what, the eyesight's good, the hearing's good, the sense of smell is good, all that is really, really good, then we're going to have to start doing something what we call counter-conditioning the dog to alleviate the aggressive behavior and bring back that mellow behavior. But I think we need to get an okay from your vet just to make sure there's nothing physical going on. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. He's actually had kind of a rough 4 months physically. Yeah. And so he did get checked out. He this past...
now you're telling me he had 4 months of a rough time. What was that rough time? What were the 4 months when you say rough? What do you mean by rough?
Well, in April, he ended up getting into chicken bones, and he had to go to the vet and spend the night there in order to get past the chicken bones. So
Okay.
that was a rough ordeal. Then in June, he got an upper respiratory infection. And then a few weeks ago, he woke up and I thought he'd gotten bit by a bug, but when I took him to the vet, it was actually an abscess, so they had to pull some teeth.
Okay, so now that's exactly my point. The dog's mouth is in pain. The dog's mouth, if the aggressive behavior started 6 months and you took him to the vet 4 months, 2 months prior to that, you can rest assured that the mouth was still hurting him. And now that you're telling me that, I'm suggesting that perhaps it's the pain in the mouth. There's nothing worse than a toothache. Take it from someone who's had a few. The pain in the mouth may have caused the aggressive behavior. So again, what I want to do, if the pain is when was the last time he growled or bit?
Well, he bit me 2 days ago.
Okay. And you again around the mouth at that point?
No, the times that he's been biting, he was in the car. We were actually bringing him back from Santa Monica.
Okay, but in the car,
on my lap and,
but
I'm
often
sorry?
when he goes in the car, isn't the car where he goes when he goes to the veterinary hospital?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying is all of these things come together. There's not one, as a behavior, some trainers would say, well, do this, do that. As a behaviorist, I got to look at the whole approach. And it sounds to me, from what you're telling me right now, that I would definitely call your vet and have the thyroid check, but it sounds to me like there was a lot of pain in the mouth, and if the dog has a lot of pain in the mouth, they're going to strike out. Now, even if the pain is gone, they associate you doing something with that pain that they had and may cause the aggressive behavior again. So I would have that conversation. What I would do at this point is take it nice and easy with the dog, give him a lot more walks, spend a lot more time with him. Just make sure, don't go around his mouth and, for another 3 or 4 weeks and make sure the mouth is feeling good. And then gradually start from the tail and work your way back up to the head. And little by little, he will come around, I promise.
Yeah, when he it's like he attacks. It's not like he bites.
He's in pain. If you're in pain, you
like
attack.
He's going after a badger.
But I got to take a break. But if he's in pain, I'm telling you, I think from the timeline you gave me, it's a pain situation. I'm going to do this. I'm putting you on hold. I'm actually going to send you a copy of the book because I want you to it talks in the book about how to deal with the behavioral aspect. But I want you to go to the vet. I'm telling you, from what you said so far, this was a pain scenario. Hey, a quick break, then right back to your phone calls. The phone number here, 866-870 KRLA. Listen carefully. This is Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Donna, Cindy, Kevin, we're going to break for the top of the hour. I don't want to rush anyone. I got great gifts for you, so hang in there. Donna, I definitely want to talk to you, Kevin and Cindy. Great time to call me when we go to break at the top of the hour. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Also, we're going to talk about this. What does your dog's peeing position mean? I know you're not going to hear that anywhere else, but it's important to know. You know, it's critical to remember that urination serves two purposes for dogs. Both male and female dogs scent mark, but the behavior is more pervasive in males. Dogs who are marking usually mark on vertical surfaces. Later on the show, and the next time I'm going to go over all the different ways, but I want to explain something to you. The reason dogs kick up so high when they pee on vertical surfaces, the higher they kick, the urine flows down, covering a greater area, which leaves a stronger message. So if your dog is kicking high up on a telephone pole or a fire hydrant, the reason he's kicking high up. If he kicks low, it only covers a little area. But if he kicks up high and pees up high, it kind of dribbles down and he covers a lot more area, letting everyone in the hood know that he's there and he's in charge. Hey, we're going to break for the top of the hour. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA. Lots of great stuff to give away. Plenty of time to answer all of your pet and animal questions. Hugs and kisses to give away. Copies of my books, Kitty Lickies, Lucy Pet Food, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. A quick break, then right back to your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. And if you love animals and want to find out why your dogs and cats behave the way they do, if you want to make life better for your dogs and cats, they're bored, they're not getting the attention that they should be getting, they're jumping, they're digging, they're not housebroken, they're not using a litter box, they don't like other dogs, they don't like some people, they're humping everything in sight. If you have a question about your pet's behavior, this is the only place. This is where you get the answers. I will help you resolve any issues you may be having with them or vice versa, no matter what they may be. If you're new to the Pet Show, let me just remind everyone that because of my amazing sponsors, I've been talking to you guys for 41 years. Some of you may have just found me. Everyone that calls into the show and gets to talk to me live on the air will, in fact, get an amazing gift for their dog or cat. And as I said earlier, many of the items I'm giving away are 35, 45, even $50. So it's a great time to give me a call. The question of the day is, what have you learned from your pets? Or you can answer this question as well, and I'll still send you a great gift. If your dog or cat had a human job, what would it be? Would your dog or cat be a police officer, a fireman, a politician? What would your dog or cat be? Give me a call. Let me know. A great gift will be on its way for your best friend. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. Just before I get back to the phone lines here, you know, I've been talking to you guys for many, many years, 41 years, and I've been involved with this for a long, long time. And just this week, I was speaking to someone I know who works at a rescue facility. And we were wondering about the numbers. And he said, Warren, you know, now almost 80% to 85% of the dogs brought into the shelters in this area are brought in not because of medical reasons, not even because of can't afford them reasons, but because they have behavioral issues. Maybe they're chewing, maybe they're jumping, maybe they're barking, maybe they're housebroken. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a dog being brought to a shelter that maybe has a minor problem like housebreaking, chewing, barking, digging, and he's euthanized or put to sleep for a behavioral issue? You know, I'm a big fan of some of the great rescues out there, but I would love to see it mandated that every single shelter have someone knowledgeable, both in training and behavior, more than one, to resolve issues that these dogs coming in have. They're coming in with issues because the people turning them in have issues. And these can be resolved. And you know, if you know how many thousands and thousands of dogs and cats are euthanized every year in America for no other reason than behavior that can be resolved, look at me, it's enough to make my hair go gray. I'd love to hear from you guys about that as well. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'd love to hear, and if you adopted a shelter dog that maybe had a problem or two that probably would have wound up being euthanized but now turned out to be the greatest dog in the world, give me a call. I want to hear from you guys too. We make a difference here. There's not another show like this in America, Canada, or even Guam now. We resolve issues that you're having with your pet, but we also look at it from not only your perspective, but from your pet's perspective. You know, it's a two-way street. It's not all their fault. It's not all your fault. If I can get the two of you to sit down and have a conversation together and understand each other, boy, what an incredible relationship you'd have with your dogs and your cats. 866-870-5752. Let me go to Donna in West Hollywood. Hey, Donna, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
It's my pleasure. What's up?
I just want to say I got my husky about 11 years ago, and I called you. I was having anxiety issues with her, and you saved our lives. Now I think she actually looks forward to me leaving the house because she knows she gets a treat. So you've helped me so much with her over the years. I just wanted to make sure I called and shared that with you.
Well, Donna, I so appreciate that. You know, you do things in life. There are people that do things in life for a living, and there are people that do things in life because it's a passion. In my autobiography, I write that, you know, when I first started out, no one ever heard of a pet psychologist. I was working at a dry cleaner trying to make a living. No one heard it. But then when but here's what happened. People would come in that have dog and cat hair on their clothes. I'd start to talk to them, and they'd ask me questions, and I'd resolve their issues. So, you know, It's who I am. I love people. I love people, but if I had a choice, if you were to say to me, Warren, you can spend your life, the rest of your life on an island with human beings or on an island with animals, guess what? None of my friends would be walking upright. It's that simple. I'm so glad the husky worked out for you. They can be a bit of a hand sometimes.
Oh, it was like, honestly, I couldn't have a better relationship with anybody else in the world except for my girl. And that was one of the reasons I was calling. I wanted to share what I learned from her over these past years was patience. I've never been a patient person, and she's taught me so much about being patient, stopping to smell the roses, and just taking time. And I've become a different person because the lessons I've learned from her.
That's so nice.
Dogs are just an amazing part of people's lives.
I once heard somebody, we were talking, there's an old saying, and it would be like, what did you learn from your dog? Well, I learned from my dog, if I see something I don't like, I just lift my leg on it and walk away.
That too.
That too. Oh, great, Donna.
What am I going to share? That one or the other?
There you go. I'm trying to think what I want.
So thank you for all you do.
You have a husky, so I'm sure you have an occasional dog hair around the house.
Yeah, she's my shed monster. I like to call her my shed monster.
Let's do this. I'm going to put you on hold, Donna, and I'm sending you a jar of the Hugs and Kisses supplement for your husky. Give that dog a big hug and a kiss, and give yourself a big hug and a kiss for working through those issues. Sometimes I sit here, and I've been answering these questions about 41 years, and it's always good to hear from someone years ago that might have been in dire straits that I was able to give some advice to and get an end result like that. Love you, Donna. I'm going to bump into you in West Hollywood. I know I am. 866-870 KRLA, the phone number. Who's been holding on the longest? I'm going to take you guys in order. Let's go to Cindy, Redondo Beach, a pooping problem. What a shock on the Pet Show. Hey, Susie. Cindy, welcome to the show.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing super. I'm seeing that you have a cat pooping problem. What's going on?
I do. I've got an 18-year-old cat that all of a sudden has decided most of the time, now and then she will poop in her litter box, but she picks different areas. She started pooping on the bathroom rugs, so I pulled them up. Then she moved to the shower, so I blocked it off. At first, I moved her litter box into the shower to see if that would help, but that didn't help. She then just went right next to it.
Cindy, I adore you, Cindy, in Redondo Beach, but you have an 18-year-old cat, right?
Yes, but she picks certain areas, so she can make it to wherever she wants.
Well, it's not a matter of making it to wherever she wants. It's a matter of, like so many cats, as they get older, will develop some type of dementia, and you may not even notice it. So in other words, there's a couple of things I would recommend. Number one, right off the bat, you've had the cat for 18 years, so God bless you. You're doing something right. But the only thing I would do with an 18-year-old cat is perhaps get a litter box and cut down the sides of it so it's easier in and easier out. Put some tape on them so they're not... Okay, that's good. And the only other thing, you'll never hear me say this, an 18-year-old cat that's having accidents around the house, what I would do is walk around with a mop, a stain and odor remover, and thank God every day I have that cat.
Okay.
No, the reason I say that, Cindy, is
that answer.
The reason I know you don't like it, but here's the reason. Let me explain why I said that. It's an 18-year-old cat. Okay, there's got to be something psychologically or physiologically going on at 18 years old. Okay, maybe she doesn't even have the urge. Sometimes when they get older, they can walk to a different area, but they don't even remember that they're peeing. They just kind of pee and then they walk on. So, you know what? What's your cat's name?
Xena.
You love Xena. You adore Xena, right? Am I right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Tell her every day that you love her, hug her, kiss her, and walk around with a rag and some stain and odor remover.
Okay. Yeah, because she pees in her litter box. She just doesn't make the poop there.
But that's what. Give her a second litter box.
I did.
In the same place, but just move it a half a foot away.
I did.
How long did you do it for?
About 2 months, because that's what the vet recommended.
And it didn't work.
Mm-mm.
So why would you do
You didn't
something for
touch that
why
little-
would
you
you do
didn't touch
something
that little
why would you do something for 2 months that's not working? I wish, I love vets, but I wish they would stick to veterinary medicine and leave the behavioral work to someone like myself. Because if that didn't work after 2 days, I would have stopped it, because what it did is created even more of a problem. My recommendation, if you want to try a second litter box someplace else, that's fine. But in the meantime, 18 years old, just hug and kiss her every day. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you for your cat some kitty lickies. At least put a smile on her face every single day, and kitty lickies will do just that. I know that's tough, and it's so rare. I mean, you guys have been listening to me 41 years. It's so rare for me to say, don't do anything. But in that case, it sounded to me like an 18-year-old cat. She's been to the vet, so I'm assuming the vets check anything that physiologically is going on. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. I mean, adults, that's why they make adult diapers for human adults when they get older. Sometimes they just don't have those same ability. Hey, great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm going to get to all your calls, but I started talking before that last break. We were talking about why dogs pee in different ways. So let me just give you a couple of things and see if these mean anything to you. Does your dog pee standing normally? Does your dog pee with the body leaning forward and the hind legs extended to the back? Does your dog have the flex pee? The hind legs are partially flexed so the rear end is slightly lowered. The hind feet usually remain under the body. Does your dog do the squat? The hind legs are straddled, sharply bent to bring the hind end close to the ground. The back is kept straight. See, these are the things I think about 24/7, guys. And what about the handstand? I love this one. Anyone have a handstander out there? Both hind feet are lifted off the ground. They may be unsupported or placed against a vertical surface. I don't make this stuff up. These are studies that have been done. There's also the arch raise, a combination of the arch and the raise, the lean. I'm telling you, look at how your dog pees. It can tell you an awful lot about how they are feeling. I promise, folks. 866-870-KRLA. Alex, do I have to take a break? I mean, yeah? What is I mean, yeah? Alex says we got bills to pay. Alex wants to get a new car. He just told me he wants to get a new car. He wants to get a Datsun. They don't make them anymore. That's how Alex... See, that's what I got to deal with. Oh, I want to get a new Datsun. They're not made anymore, Alex. You can't get a new one. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. 866-870-5752. You know what? Let me take a quick break here, and then we'll get back to your phone calls. Kevin, Regina, Donnie, and Karen. If you are owned by Some great music today provided by Alex on this Labor Day weekend. Although Alex tells me every day for him is Labor Day. We're back on the Pet Show. The phone number 866-870-KRLA. If you want to watch the show on YouTube, you can, but you should. I'm telling you, subscribe to my YouTube channel. The results we're getting are amazing. It's free. I have short tips up there. Is it okay for your cat to eat peanut butter? Can your dog do this? There's also long versions. Sometimes I can't go into depth on the show because of time. I can go into depth on my YouTube channel. So subscribe to it. It's free. It's simply youtube.com/my name, Warren Eckstein, Eckstein. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Coming up, do dogs sweat? Do dogs sweat? Well, maybe not everything you know about what you think about dog sweating is true. We'll talk about that when we come back. But right now, I am going to Lake Forest and Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I'm okay, Kevin. From looking at your screen, you're not doing too well. What's going on?
Well, I had gotten two dogs 13 and a half years ago, a little male, a little female, 15-pounders. And then about 6 weeks ago, the female had a heart attack getting her teeth cleaned. So it was kind of it was unexpected.
So now let me ask you. Kevin, let me ask you a question. So you took your dog in to have her teeth cleaned. She was, 13 and a half, 14 years old?
13 now.
15 years old, and your vet felt that it was important enough to clean the teeth to anesthetize her at 15. Did you do all kinds of blood tests and everything first?
Not on this one. On the second dog, on the male, he needs to have blood work and be anesthetized or whatever they call that.
But that dog, the dog survived. But in other words, the dog that he didn't do the testing on died, right?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question. I'm pointing this out there because you're right.
I didn't like it.
No, I'll tell you what you can do about it. A 15-year-old dog that needs its teeth cleaned, and the vet doesn't take, unless there was an emergency, the vet doesn't take the time to do a full examination, blood examination, just goes ahead and cleans the teeth, puts the dog under anesthesia at 15 years old, and the dog dies under anesthesia. Now, what I would do if I were you, was the vet apologetic to you?
Yeah.
Okay. If you believe...
I'm not going to go back.
No, but if you believe that the vet did something that he should not have done, or you want to question it further, what I would do if I were you is just like with the medical board. You can contact the Veterinary Medical Association of Southern California. Go online, check it out. Okay. Veterinary Medical Association of Southern California. There's places there where you can write stuff, you can comment, you can make whatever you need to do. Because if in fact what you're telling me is exactly true, a 15-year-old dog going under anesthesia without any type of examination or blood test first, that doesn't sound kosher to me. So I would definitely check that out. So I know your question to me now is, though, the surviving dog who was also 16? 15 or 16?
Well, no, they were both 13 and a half, but yeah, we got them the same day. So
but I mean, they're about 15. The one that's survived is about 15 now.
No, the one that passed away was about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so they're 13. They would have been 13 and a half right now.
Okay, so they're 13 and a half, even 13, 14. Okay, that makes no difference. And so I'm gathering that what you're telling me that the other dog is suffering with a bit of separation anxiety. They've been together and they're bonded breeds. My two dogs, if one's in another room, they go absolutely nuts. What I would try to do as much as you possibly can is really just leave them for real short periods of time. I want you to use some real distraction therapy. Take them for walks to different locations or just in the car to different locations, sit with him just to get his mind off of it. What often happens when they lose their best friend, they go into a deep depression, which is not good for them psychologically or physiologically. So the best thing that you can do at this point is take him to different locations, take him to a friend's house, whatever you can do just to get his mind off of it a little bit. Does he get along well with other dogs?
It's funny that you asked that because my neighbor is my son, and he has a big, looks like Scooby-Doo, 70-pound dog. His name's Zach. He's over there hanging out with us right now. So he's getting play dates with the our son's dog, who happens to live, close. So
That's great. Then you're doing every. That's perfect. But what I'd love to see is if you can possibly have your son take his dog for a walk, and yes, take Scooby for a walk, and if you can take your dog for a walk together, just to kind of get his mind off of it a little bit more. He'll get through this, I promise. But it's also important, and I know this may sound a little crazy to people and a little eccentric, but I'm talking to you from my heart. What I would do is, what's the dog's name, by the way, Kevin, that survived?
The one that's left is Bandit. Daisy was the one that we lost.
Okay. Well, I would sit down with Bandit, and I would talk to Bandit about Daisy and about how much you both loved her and how much you miss her, that she's in a better place. I know this sounds crazy, but sometimes having that conversation, dogs have a sixth sense. We have a sixth sense. It's inhibited in us, most people, not inhibited in dogs. Have that conversation with the dog. Shed some tears together. It will be good for both of you at this point, Kevin, I promise.
Yeah, thank you.
Listen, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I want to send. You know what? Let me do this. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, Kevin, for your dog. You know what? I'm going to send you some hemp seed calming oil and see if it helps. I love you guys. You guys, I get the accolade. Oh, thank you, Warren. Thank you. You guys absolutely amaze me. But does it sound right to everyone out there that a 14-year-old dog would have go into anesthesia without the vet first doing a complete examination to make sure the dog was healthy enough to withstand the anesthesia, and then the dog had a heart attack on the table? Shame. 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. That is the way to get through. I'm going to get to you, Regina. I'm going to get to you, Karen, I promise. But right now, let me go to Donnie in L.A. Hey, Donnie, welcome to the Pet Show.
How you doing? Hey, I want to tell you a great story about my dog Ben. We call him a super dog because he really should be wearing a cape. Okay, my dog, two things. One, if I'm in the ocean, if I'm out there surfing, if I'm out there body surfing, whatever it is, he'll run out firing through the surf no matter how big it is. I have to grab my arm and try to pull me in the shore. It's just an amazing thing. But what most blows me away is when I'm driving in the car. And a lot of dogs can lean into the left, lean into the right when you see a corner coming. But my dog the other day, I'm driving on the freeway, and I'm going to get over on the right lane. I turn my head to the right to try to look back over my shoulder. And my dog, I notice him. He's looking to the right, too. He turns his head back over the shoulder, and he goes, and he, makes this big noise, and he looks over at me, and he shook his head like, "Don't do it, Dad. There's somebody there." And I couldn't believe it. My dog was actually looking over his shoulder to see if the traffic was clear to get over in the next lane.
Did you ever think, Donnie, that maybe you're just a lousy driver?
Maybe I can be a lousy driver, but as long as I got Ben with me, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Now, you might think that amazes me, but nothing amazes me when it comes to this stuff with animals. I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, so obviously, some reaction in the car, and the dog reacted. So you think your dog is kind of like your? Go ahead.
He looked over his shoulder to make sure that it was clear next to us. I saw him look over his shoulder, and he looks back over at me, and he shook his head like, "Nope, it's not clear."
Donnie,
and he made it sound like, you know what I mean? Like, if you get my attention, yeah. I mean, it was honest guy. He knew exactly what he was talking about.
What type of dog is it?
He really is. He's German Shepherd Husky, and he's got 19.5% wolf in him, which is pretty high for a Husky.
It's quite a combination.
I've done the DNA on him.
Quite a combination. Anyway, listen, Donnie, great story. I love the fact. I believe it 100%. Maybe the next time you should stay home and just have your dog run out and pick stuff up for you. I got to move on, but I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to send you for your dog. You know what? That kind of combination. I'm going to send you a jar of the Hugs and Kisses supplements. Oh, sure, Warren. Send them the most expensive thing. Hugs and Kisses on its way to you. I appreciate that phone call. Let's see. Regina, don't go anywhere. Karen, don't go anywhere. Great. I do have a line or two open, which is pretty rare, so I'm going to take a break right now. Great time to give me a call. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. Lots of great stuff to give away. Plenty of time to answer your pet and animal questions at the same time. Or if you just want to answer my question, whether or not things you learned from, what are some of the things you learned from your dog? I'll take a look at those as well. I had a quick break, then right back at you. You heard me give And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. I'd love to hear from some of you guys. I do have a line or two open again, which is pretty rare, but I know it's hot out there. People are trying to stay as cool as they possibly can. Do you have any tips for people in the hot weather for their pets? I'm going to give you some of my tips, but we had someone who froze the dog's bowl, the water bowl. Anybody else out there have some great tips? I'd love to hear from you. Sometimes your tips absolutely amazing and help other people. If not, if you have a question about your dog or cat, great time to call me. I'd love to hear from some people and find out what they're doing or how their pets are reacting during the hot weather. That's one of the questions. I mean, it's Labor Day weekend. I'm surprised one person did, but I'm surprised no one's answering this. If your dog or cat had a human job, what would that human job be? Would they be an attorney? Would they be a doctor? A salesperson? I think my two would be con artists. But what would your dog or cat be if they had a human profession? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're new to the show, I got lots of items still to give away, many worth $25, $35, $45, even $50. So great time to give me a call. The phone number 866-870 KRLA 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Just before we get to you, Regina, and get to you, Karen, the question came up this week. And I was watching the local news, and, they have different people on, but no one really gives the right explanation. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes with you. Do dogs sweat? I wrote this out because I want you to hear me carefully. Yes, dogs sweat. But the type of sweat that helps to cool them down is only produced by one area of the dog's body. That is, the pads of their paws. However, the sweat produced by your dog's paws is only negligible in quantity. Dogs don't sweat the type of sweat that cools them down from any other areas of their bodies, but they do produce a different type of sweat from other areas, but it doesn't help them cool down. Sweating through the paws helps to serve the dog's systemic response to heat and works with their other body systems to contribute to cooling. However, while for people sweating is the main way we stay cool, this is only a very minor part of the equation for dogs. Dogs largely cool down by means of panting and drinking water, and supporting this by things like reduced activity, staying in the shade, and seeking out cooler areas is really important. So why does the panting cool the dog down? You see, dogs have literally thousands of blood vessels on their tongue. And when they get hot, they pant. By opening their mouth and panting, the air goes across the tongue, cooling the blood, which keeps the dog a lot cooler. However, all that being said, anyone that has a dog or cat, when it's this hot outside, please keep them inside. Keep them out of the heat. They don't deal with the heat the same way we do. And especially if you have one of those dogs or cats, a Himalayan, a Persian, a French bulldog, a bulldog, a bull mastiff with a pushed-in face, please, please, please be careful. It's very dangerous. The heat is not only dangerous for humans, it's dangerous for people. And here's the final one I'm going to give you. When it's this hot outside, before you take your dog for a walk, be a big shot. Take your shoes off, take your socks off, and walk from your front door to the curb. Feet hot, feet burning? Well, now you know how your dog's going to feel, and he has 4, not just 2. So please make sure where you walk your dog, it's cool, not on hot concrete, nor on hot asphalt. And remember, dogs are lower to the ground. So on that hot concrete or that hot asphalt, that heat comes up just about to the breathing height of your dog or cat. So conscientiousness goes a long way. And I did local TV my whole life. I just wish they would spend more time on local TV rather than, look at this cute dog, giving you information like this, letting you know what you should and shouldn't be doing, not just a quick blah, 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 but letting you know why, not just the reasons. 866-870 KRLA, the phone number. Let's go to Whittier and Regina. Hi, Regina. Welcome to the show.
Hi there.
How are you today?
I have a 8-month-old curly-haired golden retriever named Archie. He's still a puppy. He's very big and cloddy, and he jumps all the time. And I've tried everything, the treats and everything, to get him to stop. And
So let me ask you a question, Regina. I always love to ask this question. When someone says to me, "I've tried it all," what have you tried? Give me a list of what you tried. I'm just curious.
Well, I've tried the treats. You know,
What?
when he sits down, make him sit, and then give him a treat. Good boy, that kind of thing.
So wait. Let me see if I understand this now. He jumps up on someone, he gets down and sits, and you give him a treat.
Yeah.
What is he getting that
Is that
treat
wrong?
for? Let me just. What is he getting the treat for? Is he getting the treat because he jumped on the person and then sat down, or is he getting the treat just because he
that's
sat
right.
down?
Yeah, true, for sitting.
Okay, that's number one. What else have you tried?
Anyway,
Go ahead.
so just no, a firm no, no. Haven't hit him yet, but
No, whoa. Nor should you ever hit him. Ever. This is not a Archie problem. This is a Regina problem. Let's go over a couple of things. It's an 8-month-old dog. They don't come with a diploma. You need to take the time to educate the dog. So the first thing you need to do is really solidify your basic training. Heel, sit, stay, down, and come. Not going to stop the jumping, but I want you to just do that. Do it for me. Teach the dog the basics, really, and get him responding at least 85% of the time. When the dog is jumping on someone and Regina's yelling, no, knock it off, get off of him, Archie's already jumping because he's excited. Regina yelling at him is just making him more excited and making him jump more. He may get down for a second and back up. That's not the way to go. The first thing is with the basic training. So when people come in, I would practice having people come in and out of the house, have his leash and his harness on, practice your basic obedience training under those circumstances. I mean, every dog is Rin Tin Tin when the 11 o'clock news comes on. What I would do when I was training in people's homes, thousands and thousands, what I would do is I would always make sure that I would train the dog under circumstances that the people were going to confront on a daily basis, like people coming in and out. So I would practice to sit and to stay at the front door with people I know so you can go in and out and in and out. Also, what you want to do, some trainers recommend, and in some cases it works well, if you just walk away, the dog realizes he's not getting any attention for jumping. But I generally find that he's not jumping on you as much as other people. So the most important thing that you can do right now is do your basic training. Use some of it at that front door. Practice on a regular basis. Also make sure that you spend a lot of time on his level. He's 8 months old. I'm trying to figure out 8 times 12, what, 36, 30? I can't think anymore. Anyway, he's only been alive for that many weeks. Also, remember that dogs communicate with each other by visual, by looking at their eyes. If the dog cannot see your eyes, they're going to want to jump. So as a puppy, spend more time down at his level as well. The more time you spend at that level, the better off you are. What I'm going to do, Regina, because there's a lot involved here. You got an 8-month-old golden retriever that seems to have you well trained, but you need to help him a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm putting you on hold, and I want you to follow my book, How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. It's been a bestseller for many years. It's really simple, basic command, and there's a whole chapter in there specifically on jumping. Let me ask you guys a question. If everyone around you was 27 feet tall and you tried to have a conversation with them, and we look at eyes and mouths, that's what we do, you'd be jumping up to or standing on a ladder. So if you have a dog that's jumping up, and Regina, I love you, Regina, but she was getting angry enough to say, well, I didn't start hitting him yet. Why would you hit a dog? He's jumping up because he's excited to see somebody. That's like if your kid comes over to you when you come in and gives you a big hug, and you hit him and say, leave me alone. Why would you do that? He wants to see you, but I know that jumping can be dangerous. So follow my advice, the basic training, and then if you have a trainer or if you do it yourself, it'll tell you in the book. You need to practice. Once you've got the basics done, you need to practice using them. What good is it to have a dog sit and stay at 11 o'clock at night when the TV's on? He's not bothering anybody, but someone comes to the door at 5 in the afternoon. The Girl Scout cookies are coming, all right, and the dog's going to jump. That's when you need to work with the dog. But before the Girl Scouts come, have a friend or relative or a neighbor you can practice with going in and out, teaching the dog that jumping is just not acceptable behavior. Great call, by the way. I loved it. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Karen, we're going to get to you. David, we're going to get to you. I do have a line open, so if you want to just answer my question, what have you learned from your dog or cat? Or do you believe believe, what do you believe your dog or cat would be doing professionally if he was a human being? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back. My favorite movie, Working at the Car Wash. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Just a reminder that you all know by now when I get off the air here, I do my national and Canadian show. The same type of show. I give away the same gift. So if you're in the house sitting in front of the air conditioner, grab a pen. I'm going to give you that number in a couple of minutes. You can call that show starting at 1 o'clock. And as I said, I give away the same gifts. It's the same type of show. My California listeners, you'll be ahead of everyone else because the show starts at 5 minutes after. You can start calling at 1 o'clock. I'll give you that number in a bit, so grab a pen and paper. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number here. Let me take a quick call from Karen. Hey, Karen, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren.
How you doing?
Thanks for taking my call. I love your show.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I'm calling because, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Like, you're right next to me, Karen.
I'm calling because I tried to get my sister to not declaw her new Himalayan kitty, and I sent her all kinds of videos about how bad it was and what she could do instead. I sent her your book, and then she did it anyway. And she didn't talk to me for a while because I think she was withholding the fact that she had done that.
Yeah.
And when I finally talked to her about it, it turns out she and the cat were pretty traumatized. And I just wondered what you would say about all that.
Well, first of all, I'm 100% against declawing unless there's a medical reason for it. And, declawing sounds like a nice little thing, but it's an amputation and should never be done. As a behaviorist, let me tell you what I've seen over many years.
I can barely hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening.
Can you hear me okay now?
It's a little better.
Okay, I'll try to talk louder. So basically, what I've been saying for years is that declawing a cat is absolutely abusive as far as I'm concerned. It's nothing more than taking a lazy way out, and it's like if a child knocks something off of a table, do you cut his arm off or you teach him not to knock something off the table? There are so many things in my book and other books in terms of preventing dogs, or rather cats, from scratching. So declawing, I don't know what you can do at this point, but let me tell you what your sister may anticipate. Very often, when a cat is declawed, they become a little bit more orally aggressive. They can't defend themselves with the claws anymore, and I deal with this literally thousands of times in my career, where a beautiful cat, mellow cat, was declawed and all of a sudden started displaying some aggressive behavior because he felt that that was the only way to protect himself. So what I would have your sister do, there's nothing I can do about putting the claws back on at this point, but make sure she spends a lot of time socializing the cat, exposing the cat to a lot of different things, a lot of different people, so the cat doesn't ever feel challenged when people are around him, avoiding them from being bitten. I don't know why veterinarians are still doing it. I mean, a lot of veterinarians I know, you could bring in there, you could offer them your car, $1,000. They're not going to declaw a cat. They don't believe in it. I don't know why her vet did it. Maybe unless there was
her vet recommended it, even though she had all the. I gave her all these reasons not.
Her
to do it.
veterinarian recommended she declaw her cat.
What?
Her vet recommended that she declaw her cat.
Apparently, because I had told her that it was illegal in 23 states, is what I had found out. I thought.
Yeah.
And she went to this vet, and she was the big thing was her leather sofas. And I'm like, well, get rid of the cat then if you can. I gave her all these ways to not have.
All she had to do, very easy. All she had to do is take some double stick tape, a couple of balloons, put them on her leather couch. The cat never would have scratched it again, would have had his claws, and lived happily ever after. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get angry because there's nothing I can do.
I tried to get her to read your book.
What I would do if I were you, though, Karen, does she live in California?
No, she lives in Illinois.
Okay, I don't know what the law is in Illinois. I don't know what the law is in Illinois. I wish I did, but I don't. Anyway,
I
socialize,
was pretty upset about it, but I didn't say anything after she had done it because she was already upset. So.
Of course. No, I know she's upset, and she did it, and then lots of people do it, and I have this talk a million times, but it's not even close to the way it used to be. So things are changing. Declawing should be against the law. It is against the law. It's against the law in just about every country in Europe, many states here. Anyway, Karen, just tell her to socialize the cat. Socialize. I got to move on, but I'm putting you on hold. And at least I'm going to do is send you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends woke up right" because you're such an animal lover. Let me take a quick break, then we'll get back to your calls. And again, you can write this number down now, but I'll give it to you again. I'm going to try to get to David, Maureen, and Carmen, but this is the number for my national show, which starts at 1 o'clock. As soon as I get off the air here, just be really patient. Let the phone ring and ring. It goes to Radio America, Armed Forces Radio, and in Washington, D.C. So write this number down. Start calling at 1 o'clock. 877-725 8255 877-725-8255. Listen carefully, guys. This is only good until Monday. We don't often have Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm going to have time to take one more call. I'm going to go to Maureen, but before I go to Maureen, David and Carmen, write this number down. You'll be my first two callers on the national show, 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Hey, Maureen, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. My dog would be a TV reporter with a segment called The Lizard Update.
Why the lizard update?
He always obsesses over him. As soon as I let him outside, he hops all around the yard, and he'll find a lizard on a wall, and that's it. And then he'll whine a little bit so that I come and look at it with him. We had one in the house, and he was so thrilled. It was the cutest thing ever.
He's not trying to hurt it. He's trying to just hang out with it.
He's trying to hang out. He's just obsessed with watching them.
Really? I've worked with a lot of news reporters in my career, Maureen. Maybe a producer instead of a reporter. Maybe he'll produce a segment on lizards anyway. They just find things that absolutely amaze them. I'm trying to think what I want to send you. I don't know what I want to send you. What kind of dog do you have?
Oh, he's a 957. I got him from the LA County Animal Shelter about a year ago. So he is now 3 years old, and he is the love of my life.
And what's his name?
Mr. Darcy.
Not Darcy, Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy, of course. He's formal.
You got to be formal, of course. Anyway, first of all, bless you for adopting that dog, giving him such an incredible home. I will send you a T-shirt. I'm putting you on hold. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up a T-shirt on its way to you. I have like a minute left. Let me just remind everyone that as soon as I get off the air here, I have a quick cup of coffee, and then I go right to my national and Canadian show. Now, I actually heard in the U.S., Canada, and also in Guam, the same type of show, except the calls come in from all over the U.S., Canada, and I give away the same thing. So write this number down because the show starts at 5 minutes after 1. My L.A. listeners, if they start calling at 1, they'll be way ahead of the game, and you'll be up there first. But also, I want you to remember, it's going into Radio America and Armed Forces Radio based in Washington, D.C., so let the phone ring. Be real patient. Here's that number again, 877-725-8255. Until next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you. A special one between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you for listening to The Pet Show.